Welcome to Older Militaris Radio TV, and we're lifelong Catholics, and what we do is all for free, and for love of Jesus Christ, and for Holy Mother, the Church. They don't defend our Holy Mother, the Church. Today we're going to be talking about who is Donald Tusk and his history, and we'll stay away from the speculation because there is still no coalition government in Poland right now, so welcome, Brother Alexis.
Thank you, AJ, for having me on Auto Militaris Radio TV for another one of your Who Is series. You do features on world leaders that many Americans might not know about, especially Catholics. And so this is going to be fascinating because I don't think anyone knows about Donald Tusk in the United States, except some Polish Americans or maybe experts in Eastern European politics. So let's start with the beginning. Who is Donald Tusk, Tusk?
Yeah. Yes. Tusk was born in Gdansk in northern Poland. He has a Polish, German grandmother and Kashubian ancestry. His father, Donald Tusk Sr., was a carpenter while his mother was a nurse. His maternal grandmother's language was Danzig German. His grandfather, Joseph Tusk, was a railway official who was imprisoned at the Neuengamme concentration camp. Later, as a former citizen of the Free City of Danzig, he was apparently conscripted by German authorities into the Wehrmacht.
Okay, so the thing about the Wikipedia articles and a lot of stories about Donald Tusk is they don't tell you the truth. That what was just said is a half truth. So he is Kashubian, which is a tiny Slavic tribe that lives in the area of Donetsk. And the claim he's Polish is false because his mother's side is Ashkenazi Frankish or maybe Sabbatean.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not Polish, and he is a Jew, according to Jewish standards. So you can imagine what will happen to Catholic Poland if he comes to power. Now, what was he elected? He was elected. Did his party win, or was he elected to some office?
Yeah. Okay. So let me see what we got here. See where it starts. He was in office on May 19th, 1991, and to April 23rd, 1994. And then he was elected Deputy Marshal of the Senate on October 20th, 1997 till October 2001. Then he was elected Deputy Marshal of the Sejm October 19th, 2001, serving until October 18th, 2005. Then he was serving as Prime Minister of Poland, November 16th, 2007 to September 22nd, 2014.
Okay, and if his party forms a coalition government, it's likely he'll become what, Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Of Poland. So he has very different politics from the outgoing party. What are some of his political views there?
So he would expand the abortion legality in Poland. Currently, it is the same as the United States. It is only legal in cases when the pregnancy is a result of a criminal act, rape, or incest, or when the woman's life or health is in danger.
So, seeing that he is a non-Polish Slav and Jewish, he would definitely be in favor of aborting Catholic Polish children. What's his position on immigration?
He will allow people in to hurt the Polish heritage, to do what has been done to England, Germany, France, everywhere.
So he's in favor of African and Islamic immigration to Poland to destroy the Polish Catholic character of the country.
Yeah.
His political support, what part of Poland did it come from?
Yeah, let's get this right here. There we go. It's coming from
Is it the heartland of Poland that voted for him, or is it the former Prussian possessions?
former Prussian.
So it's the non-Polish, or the part of Poland heavily influenced by German. What's his view on German influence in Poland?
He goes along with Germany. He doesn't think Poland should get any settlements from the damages caused by the Nazi Germany during World War II. And
Does he think Poland should pay Israel damages for what the Germans did to Jews in Poland during the war?
I haven't seen that yet, but
What's his position on Russia?
he is friends with Vladimir Putin, and his party and a good number of parties in Europe are funded by Vladimir Putin. And I got this information from the book Putin's People.
Mm-hmm.
So when one of the Moldovan investigators traveled to Russia to investigate the scam in 2017, he was detained and searched at the border. So then they started to investigate even further, and they found out that there was black cash like the CIA uses or other intelligence agency uses, linked to Russian security service, paying for influence, and also paying political parties in Europe to be pro-Russian and do the will of the Russian state.
Mm-hmm. So the previous government, the outgoing government in Poland, was like so pro-Ukrainian. They were talking about uniting Poland and Ukraine and Belarus and a big country or alliance or something. What's his view on the Ukraine and the war in Ukraine?
He's against it. He sides with the Russians, and
He wants Ukraine to make territorial concessions.
yep.
What's his view on imports, exports to Ukraine?
He doesn't like it, and if he gets his coalition, talks will begin to start up again with Gazprom to begin getting gas from Russia and other things from Russia.
What's his position on the Ukrainian refugees in Poland? Do you know?
He hasn't said anything on those.
Mm-hmm. So if he forms a coalition, what's going to happen to Poland's role in EU? And can you speak something about the past controversies between the EU government and Poland and what is likely to happen under a Tusk government in Poland?
Yeah, so currently the Poland is very anti-EU, especially when it comes to illegal immigration. And Poland currently is, well, we're setting up a border fence. Now they're setting up a border wall to stop the illegal immigration caused by Belarus and Russia and other places. With him, if he gets his coalition up, I bet that fence or wall or whatever will come down, and he will enforce everything that EU wants Poland to do.
So basically, if he comes to power in Poland, he's going to Joe Biden the Polish people.
Hmm.
The same kind of thing.
And marriage will be under attack. You will legalize and make gay marriage not just in Warsaw but in everywhere.
Okay, so he's going to push the international Jewish Marxist agenda for the West, Kalergi plan, and cultural Marxism, and attacking Christian institutions and Christian identity. It's really a sad day for Poland. Can you tell us something about how was it his party or his coalition won a majority of the vote in the recent parliamentary elections?
Yeah.
What were the issues that got people to pull their support from the ruling party?
So after it was done, they had to wait 24 hours to get the results, and they're like, okay, that's normal for us here. That's what we do here. And but then they finally started looking at it. They noticed Russian involvement. Um, they don't say what type of involvement, but with Tusk and his party having direct contact with Russia via the funding and other things, I would bet they had Russian people there on the ground.
Yeah, they've had, when I was in Poland, it was a really shocking finding. The government found that there were Russian agents in the Polish Social Security Bureau who were giving the Russians the personal information of millions of Poles, of where they lived and how much money they made, and their name, address, and phone number. It was so bad the government had to expel the Russian ambassador and the entire staff of the Russian embassy and close it down because they were just like totally infiltrated. Well, Poland was governed and controlled by Russia for like 200 years, so they have a lot of spies and a lot of individuals in Poland willing to betray them. What's Tusk's position in the Catholic Church? Do you know?
Um,
Does he claim to be a practicing Catholic?
see, let's see. So, during his presidential campaign in 2005, his views became part of debate, and he then requested that he be married to his wife in a Catholic ceremony, which he had married in a civil ceremony 27 years earlier.
Okay, so he married his wife outside of the church. So perhaps because 27 years earlier would have been before the new Code of Canon Law, and he couldn't marry her in the Catholic Church for some reason back then. Maybe because she's not Catholic. Okay, so final words on Donald Tusk.
We ain't done yet. We had the Solomon air disaster.
Yeah, now this is a really controversial thing, and I think AJ and I didn't we do a program about this a couple of years ago? So, what was this disaster? Who died in it, and what was Tusk's crazy behavior or strange behavior afterwards?
So on April 10th, 2010, a Tupolev Tu-154 aircraft operating Polish Air Force Flight 101 crashed near the Russian city of Solomon, killing all 96 people on board. Among the victims were the President of Poland, Lech Kaczyński, his wife Maria, the former President of Poland in exile, the Chief of the Polish General Staff, and senior Polish military officers, including the President of the National Bank of Poland, Polish government officials, 18 members of the Polish Parliament, senior members of the Polish clergy, and relatives of the victims of the Galan Massacre, including the leader of the civic Tusk party. And right after that, he got in charge of the party while he was, I think, prime minister or something of Poland at the time.
So basically, everyone else in the government but him died in the crash.
Yeah.
So he goes to the crash site. What was his strange behavior?
He was seen talking with Putin, smiling with Putin, and shaking his hand.
Were there accusations and that this crash wasn't accidental?
Yeah,
And what's the general sentiment in Poland about it?
that he had something to do with it.
And why would the Russians want to kill all those people in government?
To get their people in power.
Mm-hmm. And since that time, what has Tusk said about this accident? Has he ever pushed for an investigation?
No.
So this is something that really irks Poles because the Galan Massacre was an event in which the Germans took the leaders of Poland, the military, and the culture, and shot them all in a grave, and then denied it happened. And it wasn't until 40 years later the evidence came forward how many people were killed. And I don't know if Germany paid reparations for it, but it's one of the darkest moments on German-Polish relations. It was obviously an attempt to genocide the nation and destroy it as a cultural entity. And so any Pole who doesn't feel deeply about that, there's something really strange. But as I mentioned, Tusk is not Polish. Right? So why would he feel for Polish people? It just makes sense.
And so if he gets the coalition and his group gets the government and whatever else, I won't say here, but don't go on any plane rides.
In Poland, yes. Yeah, if you're one of his opponents. Tusk's victory in Parliament, how was it greeted by Vladimir Putin?
He celebrated it, sent a congratulations to him, and as if his son won a baseball game.
It's as if it's his team member won. Yeah, that's very significant. So going forward, this might change what Poland gave a lot of people in Europe hope, resisting the Marxist, globalist, Rothschild agenda in the EU, because the EU was founded for Rothschild control of Europe and for the destruction of Christian civilization and to put Jews in power in Europe. And I mean, we already admitted here that the outgoing prime minister of Poland, and he's married, his wife's Jewish, just like the prime minister of Greece, his wife is Jewish. So to replace him with someone who is Jewish is just a further step down the wrong path. So it's not like the other party didn't have its influence, didn't have its problems. But Europe's in a bad way right now. It's not suffering as much immigration as the United States is, but it's a worse kind of immigration. This is non-Christian and non-European, whereas at least the Latin Americans share European culture with us, and most of them, nearly all of them, are Christian. So, final comments, AJ?
That if this coalition does succeed in forming a government without the others that are prominently more Catholic and pro-life and pro-family, Poland will be returning to her dark days of being under oppression, like she was in USSR and Nazi Germany, and it's going to be a tough go trying to be a faithful Catholic if Donald Tusk takes power.
Okay. Thank you, AJ, for having me on this program about who is Donald Tusk. And I encourage you to watch this show that was AJ did a show on who is Viktor Orban in Hungary and who is Giorgia Meloni in Italy.
This is Order Militaris Radio TV signing off. Deus Volk.
Deus Volk.